So anyway, as you see there, an attorney for the state's Title 4D child support enforcement agency who appears in a family law matter governed by these rules shall file a notice informing the recipient of the Title 4D services and other parties to the case that the 4D attorney represents only the Title 4D agency and not the recipient of the services. Now, anybody who's watching this should be able to see that clear as day. I'm not making that up. Correct, Savion? You're reading that, right? Or you hope you'll not trust me. Don't anybody trust me. Anything that you see on this screen, go look it up for yourself. I'm not that creative. Hell, you saw I struggled even getting this thing up and going. So I didn't create the web page, all right? I'm not that sophisticated. So anyway, clearly, the attorneys that you all see in these cases do not represent the mother. That's not Greg. That's right there as clear as day. And let me say this, as we're going over these rules, the rules of court will be more important than understanding just the history of how child support got started. You may want to know what the legislative intent was for it for personal reasons, but when it comes to being effective in a courtroom, knowing the rules of court, knowing law, knowing procedure, that's how you win. If somebody else has another way, tell them to show you that it's worked. And I don't deviate very much, whether it's I'm dealing with child support, traffic cases, or anything else. I don't deviate very much from what I'm doing. The law is the law. And now to continue with this, the notice must state that the 4D attorney may only address issues concerning determination of paternity and establishment, modification, and enforcement of support obligations. And by the way, the notice may be incorporated in a pleading motion or the document filed with the court when the attorney first appears. Now, this is how you kind of get yourself moving in the proper direction to understanding some of the fundamentals of child support. Here's the basics. So who's the party? Now, depending on how your case got to where it is, the party may not be the mother. The party may be the state. Now, after you get to that point, the next question would be, well, if the state is bringing an action, does the state have standing? And depending on what your state is, and whether your state is the judicial or a non-judicial state, and here you go to establish standing. And by the way, I think I've told you all before about getting parallel search and case text, right, Savion? And anybody else out there listening. I just happen to have Savion on.
I remember you saying something about that.
Get yourself resources, and listen, if it's worth it to you, always make sure that you're willing to invest in it. And I'm giving you just some of the basics, the nuance you have to get from application. And I'll just grab a case out of here. And the reason I go to Florida is because Florida is the state I reside. And again, I'm giving you just a streamlined way to get effective relief. You have to do the other work as far as understanding the nuance of your case, because your fact pattern may be different than my fact pattern. But generally speaking, I've been married, was divorced, dealt with that one. I've been, quote unquote, a baby daddy, and dealt with it from that issue. But what I want guys to do is have a basic understanding of what exactly you're doing. We have about 27 minutes left on the live stream. I'm not going to go too deep. I'll do some more of this stuff later on. But here you go. In order to bring standing, and you want to find cases that are relevant to your case, and even if it's family law or whatever else, but a party has standing when he or she has a sufficient stake in the justiciable controversy. Now, to establish standing, a party must have an injury in fact for which relief is likely to redress, and in non-constitutional cases, the interest must fall within a statutory or constitutional guarantee. And I'm using a Panja versus Israel case, not I don't know. Those are the last names, by the way, I guess. But at any rate, there's nuance to everything. So nothing is guaranteed. There's always rules. There's exceptions to rules, and then there's exceptions to rules. But quickly, just going over there, we talked about who the parties are. So that has to be established. We want to know if there is if a party has standing, and then what's the claim? In most instances, there's never been a claim from the state to you that you did something that would have occasioned them being entitled to the relief that they've gotten from you. This is not me. Now, I've never made any money really doing what I do. I've just been successful. And because I'm on my way out, I want to make sure that I can, on my way out the door, do as much as I can to help as many people as possible by showing them what I did to get success. And again, I think everybody can get the same levels of success that I just showed you on the screen for me. Okay, and let me tell y'all this also. I didn't have a Greg. I am Greg. So you all can really do this stuff. I have all the confidence in the world, despite what Savion or is dead or any other people who told me how unusual what I've done is. I believe anybody that puts the work in, if you have a basic understanding of, if you read and you're willing to put in the work, you can get results without having to dedicate the probably 50,000 plus hours that I had to getting up to this point. Because when I first started with this stuff, the internet was brand new. These other research tools like the one I'm using now wasn't available.